Hey, welcome back to Emotional Mojo. So our next guest says we are our own worst enemy, and if we want to change our lives, we have to get out of our own way. We say that all the time, you guys, so we're really happy to welcome back psychologist and author of the upcoming book, Stop Your Insanity, Dr. Samantha Madhosingh. Welcome back.
Thank you for having me again.
I love this because I think oftentimes when people have a hard time, they love to blame everybody else and blame the situation and woe is me, but we're the ones causing most of the problem.
Well, yes, just like you said, we are our own worst enemy, and we have all these fabulous goals, and we say we're going to do this, that, and the next thing, and then we set up all these obstacles to get in the way of us ever achieving them. And it's really great if you go to the gym and exercise. You know, everybody at the beginning of the year, they're ready to go.
Yeah,
and then
all
comes,
up and
you know,
excited.
the end of March, beginning of April, and it's empty again. You know, they've completely given up on what it is
Now,
that they
do you
want to do.
feel like women do this more than men, or in your sessions with people, do you find it kind of across the board, every gender?
I think it's across the board, every gender. The interesting thing is probably we do it in different ways, men and women, but we all do it. I mean, I don't think anybody is completely exempt from self-sabotage.
Well, and I love your approach because it's a holistic approach, right? So you want to help other people, your clients, breaking free from the past.
Right.
So that plays a big role in moving forward. So how do
Absolutely.
you do that? How do you help people do that?
Well, I think one of the first things people have to do is first to pay attention and become aware of what it is that they're doing. Because a lot of times we're, you know, going merrily along and not really realizing that the things that we're doing don't quite match up to the dreams and goals that we say that we have. So for example, I'll use myself. I'm in the process of writing a book, and you know, I could say that I'm going to be writing this book, and it could never get written, right?
I'm working on it. I'm on chapter one, okay?
With a lot of
First page number one. But you know, there's different things that I could set up for myself by staying busy and procrastinating and those types of things that will get in the way of me doing that. So it's really important to pay attention to what it is that you're doing that's getting in the way.
All right. You say there are 3 things, okay, we should never be doing if we're trying to stop our own insanity. So it's holding grudges. We shouldn't be doing that. We shouldn't be expecting catastrophe, and we shouldn't be hanging out with negative people.
Oh,
Yes.
Those
we've talked
are
about
big.
that one too.
Yeah, the life suckers.
Yes.
You know, which of those do you think people have the hardest time with?
One of the things that I see a lot of is the expecting catastrophe.
Okay.
So oftentimes I meet with people and they're always waiting for disaster. They expect things to always go wrong. And if you do that, then that's what's going to happen.
Exactly.
Because again, you're setting it up to create that.
Well, it's just like, you know, when you look yourself in the mirror and say, I don't want X, Y, Z to happen, what's going to happen? Your body automatically, your mind automatically takes out the don't and says, I want X, Y, Z to happen.
So you pull that into yourself. And so, for example, I had a client once who was terrified, for example, of going to the supermarket. She would have panic attacks when she'd go to the supermarket because she was expecting catastrophe to happen once she walked in the door. So we really worked very intensely around desensitizing her to going to the supermarket. Can you imagine not being able to go to the supermarket, you know, every week? So her refrigerator was empty. She was always eating out.
It's affecting her life.
It affects your life.
And that's just a simple example, but we all do it in other ways with just expecting the worst.
Now, I do this personally, and maybe it's the wrong approach, but for me, if I feel like what's the worst that could happen, and I actually picture, okay, what is the worst, and how would I react to that, it helps me, because I'm like, well, now I kind of have a plan. You know, if I did embarrass myself.
So is that okay to do?
I don't know if I'm doing it wrong.
There's a difference between preparing, right? But a lot of people use that as a means of then staying there. So they'll say to prepare for the worst and hope for the best, but they just prepare for the worst and expect the worst. They don't ever hope for the best and really focus on the expecting success and expecting yourself to make progress. So for a lot of times, you know, you can get really stuck there. So it's very careful.
All right, so you have 4 common self-sabotage behaviors, and I definitely do 2 of these 4.
Try to guess.
Regularly. Okay, procrastination, self-medication, and I'm assuming that can be with alcohol or maybe drugs or something like that, comfort eating, and just plain giving up.
Yes.
So for me, it's the procrastination is the worst, and I know I'm the dietitian, but I can comfort eat.
So procrastination isn't just about putting things off until tomorrow. Procrastination is also about keeping so busy that you don't actually get to the things that you really want to do. And so, for example, if you were a business owner, for example, and you have all these deadlines and you have things to do, but you're spending your time on the internet, you know, surfing, or on Facebook and other social media, which is not pertinent to the work that you're
Yeah,
doing.
you're distracting
And then you're
yourself.
distracting yourself, and you're not actually
But
feeling.
Can we just repeat what you just said? Because I think that is so key, and it really hits home for me. We're so busy doing everything that we're doing that we're not able to get to what we really want. And you just said my name right there. I mean, we're so busy in life, though, that it's hard. And then we're like, oh, but we're not happy.
Well, and I know we talk about work and whatnot, but unfortunately, these things can really be detrimental. I mean, you look at all the celebrities in the recent years who have lost their lives because they're so self-destructive. I mean, Philip Seymour Hoffman, we've got big celebrities here, even like Michael Jackson, Heath Ledger, Whitney Houston.
And the current one, Lindsay Lohan. I mean, Lindsay Lohan, thankfully, is still alive, but she's still working through this. And when you listen to a lot of the interviews that she gives now, what she's talking about is self-sabotage. She now realizes, which I was talking about earlier, that awareness. She now gets that what she is doing is sabotaging herself. And we can only hope and pray that she now puts into place things to prevent herself from keep heading down the same track that some of the
I've
other
got to believe that awareness is the first step, right?
Absolutely.
But then you have to have someone who can step with you along the way to make it happen. Right?
Yeah, you need some accountability, right?
And I think that's one of the hardest things with the celebrity population is the accountability. Having people that are going to say no to you and say, no, this is going to lead to this, and you need to stop. And I think a lot of them don't have people like that. They have a lot of yes people, and they just keep on going. And that self-medication, the drugs, the alcohol, it just gets out of control very quickly.
Thank you so much for being here with us,
Thank
sharing
you.
these tips. Dr. Samantha Madhosingh's book will be available in June. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.